So sitting down with me today is Dr. Stella McGinn from Royal North Shore Hospital. She's been heading up the kidney clinic there for the last 17 years. Would that be right?
Sad to say, yep.
And
Okay.
in addition to that, you're also the Deputy Director of the ANZ Paired Kidney Exchange Program since 2009, I believe. Does that sound correct? Yep.
Oh, 2016 I am, yeah.
Sorry, 2016.
Yeah.
So I thought you'd be the perfect person to sort of discuss the paired kidney exchange and how all that works. So can you take us through what it is and how it functions?
Yeah. Okay. So it's called ANZKX, which is the Australian and New Zealand Kidney Exchange Program. So it involves two countries, Australia and New Zealand. And initially, when the program was set up, it was set up primarily for what we call incompatible pairs. So somebody has to have a living donor if they're going to participate. But that living donor, historically, may not have been able to give to their loved one, to their potential recipient, and they were declared incompatible. 20, 30 years ago, it said that's just not going to happen. You can't have a transplant from this person all over. But what this program allows is that it sort of swaps kidneys. It matches people so that that incompatible donor can match somebody else, and it could be anywhere. It could be across the city in Sydney. It could be in Melbourne. It could be in Auckland. It could be in Wellington, and they're a good match for that person. And their kidney then will be transported to a recipient wherever, and it may well be that their donor is compatible with this person's recipient, and that kidney comes back to them. So that was the initial kind of finding of the program, and still remains the bulk of the program are incompatible pairs. But some people may want to enter the program if they are looking for a better match. So we kind of know the first time you get an organ, a kidney, the better match, the longer it lasts, and you want to have that one kidney for as long as possible. So for some people, they may want to, they could go directly, but they want to get a kidney that's well matched, and they can also enter the program and get a better match. And so we're beginning to see that being taken up by units sort of more often in the last sort of 5 to 10 years or so. And it probably accounts for about 10% of the program, and 90% are incompatible pairs. So it's a very successful program, and it works well for people. When you're in the program, this is the worry from a patient perspective, is that I don't want to be left when my loved one has donated and I don't receive it. That scenario doesn't occur. You kind of go into the program together and you come out of the program together. And often patients say, particularly at a hospital level, kind of felt like I gave to the other, to my loved one, because we both went in, had an operation, came out, and just moved on. So I think there's a lot to get your head around, and probably from the patient perspective, that's, they can discuss that in terms of the initial concept seems quite alien, giving your kidney to somebody else, but in the end, effectively, it feels the same.
Yeah, okay. So you can actually, because obviously I'm a heart transplant, not kidney, so this is a bit of a learning curve for me too. But so you can actually find, because natural assumption would be, my family member, the DNA is really close, or that's going to be a perfect match.
Yeah.
But in reality, that might not be the case, and you could be a better match with someone, like you said, in Western Australia or New Zealand or somewhere else than your loved one.
Yeah. So as living donors can come from a number of sources, and often it can be relatives, and you can be, like certainly within families, your parent child, you're going to be half and half, and you might get better than that, but probably the chances are less of that. But with siblings, sometimes you can complete match with each other, and you could also be complete mismatch. So it doesn't necessarily mean within families that you're going to get necessarily a better deal. But our living donors come from a broad range of section. They can be friends, they're often partners, and then particularly from a female perspective, if it's your partner and then you've had children, you're sensitized to your partner's DNA and often have antibodies. So So we do probably have more often, you know, husband donors who want to give to their wives, and then they may enter the program because they've got antibodies and they need to get something better. So yeah, look, it is a bit of a lottery, really, in trying to get you the better match. But the bigger the pool, you know, the more chances you are of getting a good match. But the pool numbers are actually pretty reasonable for us to keep things ticking over, and there's matching happening every week in Australia and New Zealand, getting people better matches. So it seems to work.